Hey, Miles here, milesbeckler.com, and this video I'm going to reveal my 3-pillar content marketing strategy. We're going to look at what it is and how to do it, and then at the end I'm going to cover some of the tools and some of the systems and resources I use to get a little bit of leverage to help kind of maximize the reach and minimize the amount of effort, right? Because we all got 24 hours in a day and we're doing the best we can with what we've got. So what is content marketing? First and foremost, content marketing is a marketing strategy for internet marketing that allows you to use content, whether it's in video form, audio form, or written form, to be that outreach point for you to get what you know across. It positions you as an expert in your field, and it offers helpful and valuable information for your customer avatar and for your target market. And what this really ultimately does is it helps position you as an expert, so when your target market finds the content, reads the valuable content, or consumes, if it's audio or video, when they consume the content, they feel like they're starting to develop a relationship with you, and this gets them down the path to know, like, and trust you, which is ultimately the precursor to them becoming a lead and to them becoming a customer. So content marketing is how my wife and I started our business back approximately 8 years ago with this business we're currently building. The reason we did content marketing was because we were flat broke. We literally had $0 to run paid advertising, so we had to do what was quote unquote free. But I hesitate to use the free traffic term or the free marketing strategy term because it's not free. It takes a lot of effort to execute a content marketing strategy, and your effort requires your time, and your time is valuable. So with that said, let's jump right in. What is the 3-pillar strategy? Well, ultimately, there's 3 pillars of content online. There's written content, there's audible or spoken content, and then there's video content. The first step you need to do is figure out which method of content creation you're most comfortable with, right? Because if you're uncomfortable doing the first phase in this, or the first step, nothing else is going to work and you won't get any reach because you're not actually going to do it. For me, for example, writing is kind of an arduous task. I really don't enjoy writing. I don't feel like I can communicate very clearly, whereas here in video, I feel very comfortable. I can put my cell phone on a tripod, I can click record, and I can just kind of wing it. I usually do a tiny bit of keyword research to make sure I'm clear on the topic I'm going to cover, but that's it. No scripts, no nothing. It matches my DNA. So the first step for you is to find that kind of method of publishing that matches your DNA, and we've talked about this on this channel before. Once you've created this core of content, right? So I'm creating video as my core, then you need to create systems or people in order to get that content out into the other channels. What this means specifically in my case is I'm starting here with spoken video content. Now I'm having this transcribed, I'm having it copy edited and published to my WordPress blog in order for me to get written content done by a professional who's really good at tightening it up and making it really easy to read. Also note, I'm not even doing the layout on my WordPress blog at this point. I'm having other people do every single step because I'm focused on initiating new content every day for you, and I have another job, right? My wife and I have our full-time business, which is my job, and I'm running ads, Facebook ads right now. I've got split tests that I'm running. I've got all the stuff we talk about I'm actually doing. So I'm able to whittle away like an hour a day to do these videos, but I want the maximum reach, right? That's one pillar, to just put up the video. So I have someone take this content, make it into written form. I'm gonna teach you my trick on how to expedite that process for cheap in a minute, and then publish it to my WordPress blog. The third pillar is the podcast. And what I'm also doing is I'm now ripping off the MP3 file from these audio tracks, and I'm uploading it, and I'm gonna be building it out onto an audio podcast on Libsyn, Libsyn, which is a podcast hosting service. And once they're all neatly laid out on that podcast hosting service, I'm going to tie in my Libsyn feed to the iTunes, to the iStore, right? To the Apple podcasting directory. I'm also going to put it on Stitcher and Podbean, and pretty much every podcasting directory I can get on, I'm going to put it out on. So what this 3-pillar system, content marketing kind of strategy does is it gives you 3 of the longest shelf life pillars of content out there based on one piece of content that you initiate in a way that is easy for you to actually initiate the content. So this video is my initiation point. Then it turns into a piece of written blog content, and then it gets turned into a podcast. And those are my 3 pillars of content in my content marketing strategy. Once these are done, we can add on some syndication if we want. I'm not going to go too deep, but just keep in mind that once you've got it published on your blog or on your YouTube, you still need to go drive traffic to it, right? So use your Twitter account, use your Facebook fan page, go into relevant Facebook groups and publish links to your blog or your podcast or whatever it is in the relevant groups. You can post to your Instagram account. If you really want to kind of go to the next level, you can actually look at things like Zamanta or Outbrain, and you can actually get links on additional websites that have relevant content. If you've ever been reading like a blog post and you get to the bottom and it says other posts from around the web, and then it's got 5 or 6 posts, they look like related posts, but they're from different blogs, you can actually show up in these spots too. But ultimately, the core idea is to get your content out on the 3 major learning styles, right? Because some people love watching videos and they're YouTube fanatics and they spend hours a day on YouTube. Other people spend hours a day listening to podcasts and they never look at YouTube. And other people yet prefer to read on their phone or tablet when they get home on the couch or when they're on the train and they read blog posts. So this strategy allows you to get your content out in front of each of these individuals. And of course, if you're not a speaker or you're not interested in getting on camera and you're a great writer, perfect. Start with the written content. Go that direction, and then you can use someone from like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, to actually speak out your written blog post for you, and then you have an audio format. That audio format could then go up to Libsyn and create your podcast. If you don't want to pay for Libsyn, you actually can create your podcast with SoundCloud for free at a certain level. Depends on how frequent you are on uploading, but generally speaking, you can do 1 or 2 short to mid-length podcasts per week with a $5 per month Libsyn hosting system. And then once you have this spoken track of your written content, then you can simply upload it to YouTube and you can add an image layer. YouTube has a full create functionality that allows you to upload an MP3 file and create with imagery or video content, videos. You can use, what is it called? Creative Commons licensed videos to go over your spoken track, and you can actually create videos. The other option is simply to use an image, like a thumbnail image, that simply sits and displays throughout the course of the entire video. You can also do an image slideshow with relevant images. But this would be a way that you would be able to initiate from a written post and still successfully execute the 3-pillar content marketing strategy, right? So what are the ways to level this up? First and foremost, I think it's the most important concept to keep in mind of do the one which you're best at and then outsource the rest. And why I say this is the best option for you is you're going to get the maximum amount of reach in the shortest period of time. And this will get you results more quickly. That's going to keep you excited and motivated moving forward, because the one thing a successful content marketing strategy you can never bypass in this kind of strategy is time. It takes time for Google, for iTunes Store, for the podcast directories, and for YouTube's algorithm to pick up your content. For them to start to trust you as a publisher can take weeks and months, right? So you really need to stick with this. This is a long-term approach. And if you've already been watching the channel, odds are you've heard me talk about the 90-day challenge. This is how you take your 90-day challenge and you magnify the results from that sort of a challenge. Now, another cool thing to keep in mind is you don't have to do this all at the same time, right? So I'm now about 7 months almost into this channel, and I'm just now setting up my audio podcast. So I've got about 164, 165 videos that I've created, each one with an audio track. Now, not everyone's going to go onto the podcast because some of them have screen shares where I'm recording my screen and they won't make any sense in the audio format. So we got to still honor the format that we're publishing to. But the ones that are just kind of talking head like this one here will end up on the podcast. And notice I didn't even start this from day one. I'm just now at about month 6 or 7 with 160 videos in the hopper. Now I'm starting to leverage this third pillar in the content marketing strategy. And I want you to know, on my blog, I've been publishing to my blog more and more. It's taken me multiple writers. I've hired and fired multiple writers to find the right person who's able to take my content, who's easy to work with, who shows up and they're hardworking and they're there every day, ready to work. They're hungry for work, right? I had to find this person who had that combination of a desire to be of service, and they were able to create the content that I wanted to see based off of the videos and publish it for me and get it laid out on my WordPress blog for me. So as you're moving forward, if you end up hiring someone on Fiverr or hiring someone on Upwork and the first person doesn't really work, that's okay. That's actually kind of normal. That's exactly what happened to me. Try again and try again until you get someone you can count on. I don't think I got my first blog post from an actual video onto my blog for about 2 or 3 months of publishing every day, right? So this isn't something that you like push out in one fell swoop. That would be overwhelming. You need to take it in logical steps and figure out, okay, my core content creation strategy is blank. For me, it's video. I had a blog already that I was not publishing to, so the logical step for me was to get it transcribed and put into written format on my blog. Now that I have a system that's working there and I've been able to publish approximately 2 to 3 blog posts per week on average since I've got my rhythm there, now, after months, I'm starting to add on that third pillar, and I'm still marketing everything on social media. I'm pushing out content to Twitter, to Instagram, to my Facebook page, etc., slowly but surely as I'm publishing this different content. Ultimately, though, it's all about the lifespan of the content that lives in podcast videos and blog posts, because Facebook posts and tweets get buried in a heartbeat in this day and age. But good content on YouTube can stick around for years and years and years. And that's the same with blogs, and that's the same with podcasts. That's why this is such a powerful plan for you. So if you're initiating with spoken word with a podcast, or if you're initiating your content with video, a really cool tool that I've been using is called Trent. Trint.com. It's in beta right now. You get 30 minutes of transcription for free, and after that it's 25 cents per minute for transcription, which is an incredibly low price. Now this works perfectly for my content. For my wife's content, it doesn't work that well. For some reason, her voice doesn't work within the Trent system, so we have a transcriptionist we use who actually manually transcribes my wife's content, because we're executing the same strategy for her as well. So once you speak out the content, have it transcribed, and then it's important to copy, edit it, and publish it. Now I did this the first time for myself, actually the first couple of blog posts, just to test the process before hiring a writer. It took me approximately 1 hour from taking that video file and uploading it to Trent to having a fully formatted blog post that I was really proud of on my blog. So if it takes you an hour to do a video and an hour to do a blog post, you can personally, with minimal cost, right? We're talking $2.50 for a 10-minute video. That's all it would end up costing you, and you're reaching out to two of the largest search engines. You're becoming a publisher for 2 of the largest search engines with 2 hours a day. You stick with that for the course of the year, and this is where magic happens. It takes that kind of persistence over time. So I really do like Fiverr in situations like these. If you don't want to go through the process of having it transcribed, or you don't want to deal with the transcription, turning it into a blog post, I would personally look on Fiverr, Fiverr.com, for someone to do this kind of copy editing. I would look for a copy editor on there, someone to do this kind of copy editing for you. And you can ask them if they do WordPress layout design as well. But all in all, actually plugging it into WordPress is about a 5-minute job. If you need imagery, right? You need pictures for your blog, or you need pictures for a picture slideshow, you can get free, royalty-free images from Pixabay. pixabay.com, pixabay.com. You can find free royalty-free images, and it's important to use images you have the right to use, right? If you want paid ones, bigstock.com has a really good deal on their kind of monthly subscriptions, and you can get something like 5 or 10 different images a day. Just sign up for a month, download all you can for a day, every day, and you have a stockpile there you could use for months or even potentially years. So if you are creating content already in one of the pillars, this video has shown you how to take that and maximize and leverage what you're doing to get that content out on the different pillars, right? So the most important part is 1, get started. Start making progress. 2, do so in a way and initiate content in a way that matches your DNA. If you're a talker, if you're someone who's comfortable on camera, go to YouTube. If you're not comfortable on camera but you love talking on the phone, do a podcast. If you don't want to talk at all and you are extremely well communicated on the written word, write the blog posts. Start there. Then figure out what's the next most logical step for you and put a system and people in place to take care of that. If it's using Trent and hiring a copy editor, great. If it's using Trent and doing it yourself because you've only got a couple of dollars and you got more free time than money, great, do that. That's what my wife and I did for 4 years straight. And now, after 8 years of executing this kind of a plan, we get 750,000 visits per month to our website, mostly new people, hundreds of thousands of new people discovering my wife and her content and our products and our email list every single month from work we did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. That's the power in this kind of a situation, and that's because each of these pieces of content have a very long shelf life, and that's why it's so important to not just focus on social media marketing, but to have a core strategy in place for your content marketing, right? So I implore you to go out and start making content. And if you already are making content and you're doing a 90-day challenge, great. When you have a little bit of extra time, figure out how you can syndicate your content, how you can kind of get that next level content marketing strategy to add on the next pillar. Then master a 2-pillar strategy. Get yourself comfortable, get the right people or systems in place for a 2-pillar strategy. And when you've been executing that successfully for a couple of weeks to a month, then begin to lay the foundation and add your 3rd pillar. And at that point, once you have a 3-pillar strategy going full speed, that's when you look into syndicating. And remember, it's important to post to all your social media every time you got some new content out. And if you're comfortable going into different groups in Facebook, that's a great way to leverage other people's audiences. But remember, contribute in the groups that you're posting in. Don't simply spam your stuff in the groups. You will frustrate the admins and you could get booted from the groups. So be a contributor who answers questions and engage with those audiences, and then publish your content when it comes out. And this is it. This is the 3-pillar content marketing strategy. This has worked absolute wonders for my wife and my business. It's now what I'm using on this channel and my blog at milesbeckler.com and the podcast that's coming out, and the reach continues to compound day in and day out. I know you can replicate these results. It just takes effort. If you've got a little bit of money you can throw at it, that's great. That can save you a lot of time and kind of amplify the efforts of others, get you a little bit of leverage, which is really powerful for you growing the business. But all in all, there's no excuses. It's just time, right? Turn off a couple of hours of the electronic income reducer, which is the television, and there it is. Now you have the time to execute your content marketing strategy, and you'll get better at every single step. If you're not a great writer, but yet you're doing your transcriptions yourself and you're writing, guess what happens after you do 30 to 60 of those posts? You become a better writer. Guess what happens after you've made your 10th, 20th, 50th video? You become a better speaker. We get better at all of this. It comes easier, it takes less time, and the results compound over each other, and you can literally get years and years and years of positive results for effort that can take a couple of hours on an afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. I hope that you take whatever content you're creating right now, and if you're not creating content, I hope you start creating content. But if you are creating content, I hope you start laying the foundation and you start building upon what you're already doing to make sure you're executing a 3-pillar strategy once you get all your ducks in a row, and once you get momentum going, because this, my friend, is the biggest way for you to create a little web of your own little links, right? Your YouTube links to your podcast links to your blog links back to your YouTube, you embed your blog, and all of these different search engines see all of the different links that you're giving back and forth yourself. Then they read all of your social media links that you have linking back to all of that, and they think, wow, this person's got a nice little web of content and they're all interlinking with each other. This person must be an authority on that topic. Boom. You get traffic, my friend. Thank you very much. Miles Becker here again. I'm going to go ahead and end it at this point. I do appreciate your time. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Click subscribe if you have not already, because I got some new cool videos coming out for you after this, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for your time.